Okay, got it.
Hello, everyone. It's Shannon and Nina. Nina, I wanted to share this with you in real time. I got a beautiful audio message from Renee yesterday. She was on our live the past 2 days, and she sent me an audio message on LinkedIn, and she said, "Thank you so much for you and Nina modeling how fun it can be to not overscript yourselves and just have fun on LinkedIn." So I wanted to start with that today. So welcome, everyone. We are back for part 3 of our series here, which is Learn to Love LinkedIn. If you've missed it, part 1, I shared why it took me so long to come over to LinkedIn from Facebook, and then what I've been learning along the way about content. Part 2 was yesterday, and we talked about how to make the algorithm love you on LinkedIn. And I have some insight from that after thinking about it, Nina, that I wanted to share with you.
I want to talk about. Yes, that's great.
And then, Nina, what do we got queued up for today? We are ready.
We are so ready. Well, first of all, there is a little leftover from yesterday, which is probably the one thing you and I have diverging ideas about. So that's going to be interesting. And I'll share what it is in a hot second. And then what we really want to talk about today, and it ties into the leftover that I have from yesterday, which is how to elevate your conversation on LinkedIn. And by elevate, I just mean sort of not getting stuck in the rut of just a dutiful posting, but be it that you're living into your big, audacious, hairy goal, or be it that you just are looking to advance your conversations in terms of what you're learning as you grow in your business. That kind of elevation to make sure that we sort of stay fresh and not stale, right? We don't want stale. I had a stale dinner yesterday, and halfway through it, I was like, F this. I was cleaning out my freezer. That's how that happened. And I said, F this. I took what I was eating, I threw it in the garbage. I went into the freezer, and the other 2 packs I had went right into the garbage and the recycling bin as well. And I'm like, stale is no good.
Stale is no good.
No.
Nina, you know I have a love of cooking. I'm always offering to come cook you meals here or in Switzerland.
Oh, especially in Switzerland, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm a lot of things. I'm very prolific at, quite a few things in my life. Cooking ain't one of them. So yes.
Knowing your lane, people, knowing your lane. So let's talk about this for a minute. One, I just want to share with you, as I was doing some dishes this morning, which I actually really love doing dishes by hand because you just have to do them and be present. Like my brain doesn't seem to go anywhere. It's probably that water feature too. One of the things I was thinking this morning, Nina, based on our discussion yesterday of how to make the LinkedIn algorithm love you, I think I screwed it up this week. And I wanted to get you're the one that's more experienced here, based on our discussion. So, how every day when we go live, this is going to my page at 1:00, but I had still had things posting in the morning. So technically
you screwed up.
I have seen like the traffic just drop on all of it. And this morning I was like, oh my God, no wonder, because I forgot to count that this is going to count for a 24-hour post in that window.
Exactly. So yes, you saw that right. And I should have warned you about that. And my bad for not doing so. Yeah. So for instance, I didn't plan anything for Monday, Tuesday, and today. And I'm breaking my own rule by posting tomorrow again at my usual 10 a.m., which is still within that 24-hour window. But I also want to get back to my community that I'm posting within at 10 a.m. So yes. And I actually love that, the algorithm isn't, I don't like that you didn't get the engagement you should be getting, but I love that we're proven right, that the algorithm actually exists. And the thing that I was thinking about this morning as I was brushing my teeth, another thing that, allows your brain to go wherever, is that, all the algorithmic things that I talk about are not only my personal experience, but are actually based on massive, massive, massive data. And this data comes from a guy called Richard van der Bloom. We talked about him on Monday. He's sort of the LinkedIn algorithm guru. He has LinkedIn in his ear, so he's definitely like the real deal. He takes hundreds of thousands of posts and runs them through all these metrics. And then once a year, he comes out with this massive algorithm report. The last one was 130 pages. I actually go through it and pick out what is important to my people and like people like you, and sort of cull together what's important for my clients. So I just want to make sure, because one of my clients did actually point me to a person who was saying she does this and she does that, and she's getting great engagement out of it. And I actually pinged that person and said, what is this data based on? Is this your personal experience or is this mass data? So be careful where, are you talking about empirical information? Are you talking about, in what is your information you're getting about the algorithm founded, and is it something that is reliable? Because otherwise it's just hearsay and it worked for me, and half of the time people are lying anyway.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
Okay, then I have one follow-up question to you. So I'm washing the dishes and I'm like, oh my God, I totally screwed up my whole algorithm because I didn't think ahead, but it's okay. So my question for you now is, in that next thought, when I was drying said dish, was, oh my God, I should go make an event because I want to practice with this event about getting people to my marketing office hours. And so I came over here and then I stopped and I said, wait, I can't make an event today because it'll count as a post. Yes. Is that right?
Yeah. And that is, by the way, just a little alert. And LinkedIn, if you're listening, please listen. That's one of the things that are super annoying about LinkedIn. When you create an event, you need to post it as you are creating it. So whenever I want to announce my we have a next event on next Tuesday. We have another Art for Life live show. I cannot, tonight, I would love to put that together and get it off my to-do list because I want to announce it tomorrow morning. I can't, right? I cannot hit the create event button until tomorrow morning at 10 when I actually wanted to go out, because it won't let me schedule it. LinkedIn will not let me schedule it, and it forces me to post it. So that is one of the things I do not like about creating events on LinkedIn, is that it is a post. So you want to be strategic about, I have everything ready. I have the graphic ready. I have the post ready. I have the language for the event ready. Everything it'll take me 3 minutes to do it, but I have to do it synchronous because it will not let me schedule it. And I don't want to do it too soon after this thing here.
Okay. Is there any benefit? So this is another thing. Y'all, you have to know this is such valuable conversation, because Nina and I are doing this because we wanted to see what can Shannon bring to light here that she's learning on the migration over, because I know many of you are migrating with me, especially if you're from my community. So Nina, the next thought after, oh shit, I can't do this right now, was, should I delete when I went live the last 2 days from my feed? Because they're not, people that have RSVP'd to the event. We're not even seeing, there's no comments on my feed, right, for my lives each day, because the comments are over where they RSVP'd. So do I need to clean something up or just let it run though?
Just let it run. I wouldn't delete it. Okay. I would just run it.
All right. Awesome.
The quote unquote damage is already done, but you also, so these kinds of lives have a really strong afterlife, which is one of the reasons I love these lives. So you would sort of truncate, or you wouldn't allow for people to see, this 3-part series on your feed. So this is good for you to have these events. It ups your profile, so to speak. So definitely don't delete them.
Okay. And when I send a recap email, I should just go ahead and send it not to my lives that look like Ghost Town, but to the event where all the comments are?
You could do either or. If you want to start gathering comments on your, because you're streaming right now live, as am I. We're both streaming live, but I created the event, so the main asset, it lives on my profile, not yours. But you can definitely, as you're going forward, if you are, let's say, referencing this, you can reference to not the main event, which I created, but to the actual stream that you created on your profile. So you can choose either or, depending on what serves your audience best, right?
Okay, got it. So I'm going to think about that, because that email is going to actually go out Saturday morning to my email list, which I know today we're talking about like thought leadership and elevating our thought leadership on LinkedIn. And Nina's really going to focus. I mean, we're going to have a epic discussion, which might include a battle, because she's come ready for battle today, y'all, with this question that didn't get answered yet. But Nina will focus today on thought leadership through LinkedIn Live, and I'm going to focus on thought leadership through LinkedIn newsletters, because my experience is in newsletters and hers is in LinkedIn Live. So you're getting the best of both worlds today.
Exactly. And I just want to quickly answer Bria's question. And I think we have a little really cool feature. There we go. Is there a benefit to posting an event on LinkedIn that won't be live on LinkedIn, like a workshop you're hosting elsewhere? Yes, you can. Just do know that when people sign up through your personal profile on LinkedIn, you do not get to collect any emails. So if you want to collect emails, you could still advertise it if you feel like there is a big audience that might come over to your event, with a link to, like, tell people you can RSVP here for the event, but if you want to actually get the replay and the benefits of this, that, and the other, and the bonus I'm offering or whatever, make sure you use this link and sign up for Reels with your email. You can only collect email if you're running an event through your business profile, but we all talked about the fact that the business profile is a no-go. You just ignore that. So yeah.
Okay, and let me just clarify that for a minute. So Bria, you've got a workshop coming up. I know we've been working on the copy. I'm going to be experimenting with this starting in April. But when I used to make events on Facebook, it's the same thing as what happens on LinkedIn. You make the event and people will say, yes, I'm going. Yes, I'm going. But you need to follow up with each one if you want them to actually get registered to get on your email list so they get the information, right? I'm going to play with this. This is my marketing experiment for spring season, because I'm no longer using quarters. So the spring season is coming up March 21st, March 20th. I'll be playing with this. So I'll be able to help, all of our clients and talk about this. So yeah, are you scheduled to talk about best practices for getting the right followers?
I love that, because I think so Shannon and I have been having so much fun with this. We're like, we should do this regularly. So here's our next topic. Thank you, Veronica. I mean, in a way, what we're talking about today will lead into that. And here we go. It's an excellent question, and we can definitely address that in part today. And if we don't get to it that deeply, that could be topic for the next one we might be doing, right?
Absolutely. Nina and I are having fun. We're going to make this a regular thing. We've just decided in about 30 seconds.
Yeah. We're both very good at making decisions fast. All right. So the leftover question from yesterday, which I think will also lead into the live plus newsletter, etc. And maybe it won't. Who knows? So the real question I had for Shannon, and those of you who know Shannon know why I'm asking that question.
I've got my dukes up. I'm ready. I'm ready to duke it out today.
So good we're not in the same physical room. Okay. So how do you balance personal storytelling with professional insights? And I know how you handle it, or let's put it that way. I've seen you handle it on Facebook. And so really the question is, how is it now different for you on LinkedIn? Or how do you think it's going to be different for you on LinkedIn?
Yeah. Okay. Just for everyone's benefit, I do want to say this, and I really mean this with a lot of love. Okay. I mean, there's a few things I want to say here. personal storytelling in general, whether it's personal or business, is going to just up your entire revenue and relatability and all of that stuff. We know that. I mean, I teach that all day long. Okay. If you can masterfully take lessons in your personal life that you want to talk about and blend them into lessons for life, lessons for business, lessons for marketing, go for it. But there's a fine line there. And most of the time, most people cannot pull that off. That it feels pushed, it feels for attention, right? It feels like you're sharing too much. And gratefully, I don't have this problem. It is my gift to take any related story and be able to weave it into content that will help people. Okay. Now, I want to say this too. Once again, making nobody wrong for their choices. Some people don't ever want to talk about their personal life, and that's okay. You get to choose. You're the marketer of your brand, right? But I would be remiss to say, I have a knack and a gift. The whole thing with my wife transitioning to a woman is a beautiful example. I shared every part of the journey of that transition. Even to this day, things we're having issues with transgender, not so much on the political side because it's like a shit show now, but like personal things that we're still working through. It has built an entire new audience that buys from me, right? I couldn't share that and a lot of other things until I was healed enough to be able to show the value and the lessons in them.
And I think this is the key.
And this is the key. And I know, Nina is a very different personality to me. She's European, so she's more closed off, which is okay. And I love her dearly, but she's not going to go talk about her mother on LinkedIn. It's just not probably in her personality to do so. And so that's okay too. I think we need to honor where everyone's boundaries are. And if you're going to share stuff on your personal side of life, please make sure you are healed enough that you can talk about it in terms of a lesson or an insight, and come learn from me how to tell a good story that bridges that gap between personal and business to win you clients. Amen. Nina, that's my answer.
Okay, it's a beautiful answer. And what I always tell my clients is, if they are a little bit more like me, more reserved, it's not even that I'm more reserved. Shannon, the 2 or 3 times I talked about my mother on Facebook, some dingbat went immediately to my mother and said, "You were on Facebook and your daughter talked about you." And then it came right back at me. And so I'm like, screw that. I'm not talking about my mother anymore on Facebook. And I'm not on Facebook that much anymore. Anyway, so it's irrelevant. Probably I will get away with it on LinkedIn, because that aforementioned dingbat does not live on LinkedIn. But what I always tell people, and that's what I did in the beginning when I was sort of, putting the big toesy into the water of, personal sharing on LinkedIn, is pick a couple of things that you feel comfortable talking about that become the things you talk about, so people can relate to you, right? So, it can be really, it can be small things like, I talk about my dog all the time. I talk about the fact that I'm a citizen pruner and that I share my time between Switzerland and New York, just to give a couple of examples. But that allows for people to relate to me. It allows me to speak a little bit about, and of course, my photography, talk about some of my personal aspects without ever going into, my marital status or my anything that I just don't. It's not that I don't want to talk about it. I just don't think it does. It's not relevant, right? But telling stories and relevant stories and not being yourself still in the messy middle of the story. And Shannon, that's what you just referred to, and we can hear you typing. That really makes a big difference of making sure that you are talking about something where you can talk about why you're telling the story and what the outcome that is relevant of the story is to your audience. So make it accessible and relevant to your audience, and not a semi-awful, TMI experience for everybody involved.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, we didn't really have to duke it out.
No, well, yeah, yeah. So it is interesting. I mean, you're sharing at a level where, as you said, you took the wind out of my sails. I just wouldn't feel comfortable, right? I also, I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming you had a conversation with your spouse whether they are
Yes.
comfortable, and I think that is a huge part of it, right? And there's people who share their kids. I have one client; his three boys are all over LinkedIn, and he's very comfortable with that, and he does it in a beautiful way. And I know people who will never mention their kids and put them on social media because they feel that is super inappropriate. And I think it's either is fine, but I think it's just a thought process that needs to have happened at some point and probably been discussed with the other parent if there is another parent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Daniela, how do you learn it? Well, you've enrolled in the program, so you're immersed. You will be learning it. So good job for taking the first step.
Yep.
All right, let's dive in today. I have a question for you, Nina. I'm going to kick you off with a question today.
Go for it.
Now, do you have a magic ball? Because I actually want you to predict the future.
Magic ball. Here, I have my little Chinese guy.
Nice. Rub the head. All right, here we go.
It makes a beautiful noise. I don't know how beautiful it is on on LinkedIn. All right.
Sounds like a frog.
It is a frog.
Yes. Okay.
Frog.
Why? All right. The first part we've already covered, but why are LinkedIn Lives so hot right now? We've covered that.
Yeah.
But if you have anything else to say to that, but then do you see LinkedIn Lives, them putting their effort in the foreseeable future, like this still being a very valuable medium for people to put their effort into?
Yeah. So longevity of it, yes, because it is an investment, right? So yes. So I mean, the resounding answer is a heck yes to that. Because it covers so many different aspects of what you're doing, right? So you have the video aspect, which is immediate trust builder with your audience. So if we're looking at, Shannon has this beautiful quiz, what is your content personality? I have a similar quiz, but different, which is what is your video personality, which is much more specific. But basically, if you are a video personality, a visual personality, a live personality, you want to be in a video environment, right? And for most of us, it is easier to go on video and talk with another person and have like the conversation Shannon and I are having right now than sitting there, also to the point with Daniela yesterday, who wants to do longer format content, or, Veronica, was it, or Diana, who were nervous about, saying what they want to say in 60 seconds, which can be really hard. This format allows you to go a little more off the cuff, deeper. Your personality can come out much more than you trying to, get yourself through a script in 60 seconds. And purely algorithmic wise, a live has 84 times more engagement capability, or gets shown to 84 times more people than any written post ever will. And I think it's like 7 times more than a regular video. So from an purely algorithmic point of view, and we know that can change tomorrow, but right now, LinkedIn Lives are the highest value media you can put out to get people's attention. It's a great trust builder. And the moment you start inviting people into your live with you, so we mostly work with our clients on guest shows. Those of you who run podcasts know of the benefits of inviting guests into a talk with you, because now you're not only talking to your audience, you're also expanding your audience into the audience of your guests, right? So there's this automatic opening up of your little ecosystem to incorporate fresh and new blood, so to speak, new eyeballs, new potential clients. So it's just a great opportunity to get in front of more people. And then I personally love that, we do these quarterly content planning sessions with our clients. I do them for myself. If I have this anchor content, be it a newsletter, which we'll talk about in a hot second, or be it a live, I know that, every first Tuesday of the month, I have my Artful Life show with my friend Melissa, where we're bringing the conversation about art from Instagram over to LinkedIn. And that is automatically one piece every month, plus the announcement, plus 3 little snippets, conversation highlights that I will edit out of it. So I already have basically every single week a piece of content without even having done anything, right? So it just is a beautiful way to create content that is also then repurposable. So this here, it can be downloaded as a transcript. It can be downloaded as an audio only. You can repurpose it as a podcast, as a newsletter. I mean, it just can go a million different ways.
I love it. All right. So Nina, you're going to be so happy. I made a decision after yesterday.
Yes.
That starting in April, I am going to get StreamYard.
Yes.
I think my lovely tech wife, Maria.
I'll be happy to have a conversation with her about the pros and cons, what to choose.
Okay. I'm going to get StreamYard, and I'm going to start live streaming to LinkedIn. And I have some ideas of things I will live stream, but I'm super excited to test it out. And I just want to express my gratitude of you doing this series with me, because this really was like, okay, we were brainstorming over art at your table. If I really am going to do this, I just need somebody to help me get over this hump a little. And you've been able to do that in just 2 days. So thank you so much. So happy.
Welcome. Yes.
All right. So y'all, I want to talk about newsletters for a minute. LinkedIn has a newsletter feature. I have a newsletter on LinkedIn. You can certainly go find it. It's called Inbox Income. It's a very good name of a newsletter. It took me 4 times to get there. All right. But I want to make the case about both and, not either or. Okay. So here's the case I'm going to make today.
Yeah.
If you're going to do a LinkedIn newsletter, it does not replace an email newsletter for all the reasons we've already talked about, because you need to get people's email address and own your data as a business owner. All right. So the number one question that I get asked is, how do I make these two work together? Right. That's really the beauty, I think, of what I've figured out this past year of publishing Inbox Income over on LinkedIn. All right. So the first thing I want everyone to know, whether you're old to me or new to me, is my content brain starts with email first. And it's because I prioritize email over everything else. So I write 1 email a week, and that email then gets repurposed somewhere else. Okay. We also do 1 long form blog post a month. And that blog post is usually 2,000 or 2,500 words. There's a lot of content in there that we split up over the month to publish into Inbox Income. Okay. But how does Shannon get Inbox Income LinkedIn newsletter readers to her email list? This is where the gold is. All right. And this is why I'm going to tell you it's a both and. Every Inbox Income you read, you can go read them. I don't know. There's probably 60 out by now. I don't know how many there are. Okay. Every single one throughout it will say, there will be calls to action. It'll say, if you want to read the more in-depth article here where this blog post came from, click here. And it'll take you to my blog post where it then has all the calls to action you could ever want. Do you want to download this free resource that goes with it? Do you want to get on a call with Shannon or Amy to see how we can support you? Do you want to come to the next marketing office hours? In which case you need to give me your email, right? So we're making it work that way. But the other way is at the end of every LinkedIn newsletter, we say, want to get more of this right to your inbox? Click here to subscribe to our email list.
Yep.
Okay. So important, Nina, because what I heard made me feel hollow and haunted when LinkedIn newsletters hit the scene. And the first thing I heard was, oh, good, I don't have to write my emails anymore. And I thought, they're missing it.
No, that's a totally different tool, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that we cannot stress enough, and like for me too, as a LinkedIn expert, it's all good and fine. I mean, I have 10,000 followers, wonderful, but I don't own those 10,000 people, right? Unless they migrate to my email list, they're not useless to me, but they're a lot less useful than they could be if they were on my email list. So the game we're playing here is not how many views did I get, and the comments are great and all that, but the real metric, if you only were to look at one metric, it is how many of the people that engage with me on LinkedIn are actually on my email list.
Yep. And it's also an opportunity. I think if people actually did look at that metric, myself included.
Yeah, I do.
It's an opportunity to go to the people who are frequently commenting or who you're in DM conversations with and say, hey, I've got another great resource for you. It seems like you're enjoying this stuff. Join me here.
Yeah.
Right. Which we did talk about yesterday. We should probably come back to it because we said we would. How do you move the comments and the DMs into sales?
Yeah. And sometimes, a direct sales happens, and it happens to us quite often because LinkedIn is our, bread and butter, but it happens to us just because that's our focus. I think for most people that email list is crucial. It's important to us as well, but in general, it's just getting people off of a platform that you don't own. I once was locked out of LinkedIn many years ago for 4 days. I didn't have a business anymore.
Yeah.
Right? And that's something I'm always, ever since that happened, it was in 19, I used a plugin I shouldn't have, I guess, that it just didn't know. They told me they were legal, which, no plugin on Chrome is legal to be used with LinkedIn, just FYI, unless it's grabbing stats. That's permissible. But it just goes to show that we have to be really careful how much of our like, for instance, you mentioned something yesterday, Shannon. Was going to ask you about that, actually. You were looking for a post of yours. If I was looking for a post of mine, I wouldn't go to social media. I go into my archive on Dropbox. I write everything on a Word document, and it gets cut and paste into social media. Every single piece of media, every single piece of writing that goes on social media lives in an archive on my computer, and I own it. And you need to do the same thing. It's like, that is all that word verbiage and all those assets you're creating, you need to own them.
Yeah. So this is fun content creation process. We write everything in a Google Doc so we can search it.
Yeah.
We always have a copy. Yeah. And what I should have done, I don't know why I didn't think about it, because I needed my own blog link, is go to my own damn blog and search on the blog itself instead of go to Google and get all the results from everywhere else, right?
Well, it was a good exercise, but yes.
Yes. Okay. I do want to say, just for preserving Daniela's mental space, Daniela, you are a live person, content personality, so you do not need to take Nina's video quiz. If you want the how to write a LinkedIn post that converts, get that, but do not go into her video content quiz because you are a live person, and I actually want you to focus on what we're doing here. Although I will make the case, Nina, I think live video was one of your content personalities.
No, so my personalities are completely different. So they are focused on how you show up on video. So are you more the motivator? Are you the entertainer? So, if you don't want her to take it, she won't take it. But if anybody wanted to take it, it's more about what kind of video content suits you best. And it has nothing to do with you being a live or a visual or a kinetic personality. It has more to do with, are you more prone to wanting to entertain people or educate people or be a storyteller, etc.
Correct. Sorry, I forgot. So yes, go take it, Daniela. I am the educator. I am totally the educator.
100%, yeah.
Some might say entertainer, but I really love to teach. That's why I love doing these.
The funny thing is, remember when we did the quiz and I'm like, well, let's put the entertainer in just as like the outlier, which is the people we will not be working with, just to find out that when I took my own quiz.
Nina's an entertainer.
Well, I'm a storyteller because, I can never get it out straight. I have to tell the whole story. But yes, I am also quite a bit entertainer. And the funny thing is, I create this quiz myself without knowing what I am, and to have to take it to find out that I'm, oh, oopsie. Yeah, I'm also an
Yeah.
entertainer.
Oh
Then
my gosh.
to your question, where is the quiz? It's on my website, clockwiseproductions.com. And I can't put it into the chat here on our platform because madly enough, LinkedIn does not allow direct. That's another LinkedIn. If you're listening, that's another thing that drives me mad. If I comment in our platform, it won't go to LinkedIn. It will only go to YouTube where we're streaming as well. So hold your horses. It'll be there right after this chat is over.
Nina's website is clockwiseproductions.com.
Thank you, Shannon.
You're welcome. Okay. Diana
All right.
has a question before she jumps. But I just want to say Nina has a playbook for doing all of this that you can buy. And it's well worth than us sitting here talking about how to make graphics. I don't even know how to do that shit anyway. So Nina, for the people who are like, wow, I want to get started on lives. Where are we sending them? Because they want to
the
know.
Lives. Yeah. So the Lives is a beautiful online program with lots of support with one-on-one calls and group calls. Very affordable, I might say. And if you're interested in it, the landing page is like this close to being done. So please just DM me on LinkedIn. I'm the only Nina Furry. Well, if you're watching this, you know where I am. So just DM me and I'll be happy to tell you more about it. What was I going to say? There was something really important. Oh, about LinkedIn Lives. There was something I wanted to add about it that was really important. Shannon, you say something while I rummage through my poor little brain. What the F did I want to say? It seemed so important at the moment.
Nina and I I'll speak for myself. I have menopause brain now and I forget
no,
shit.
I'm like way past that. I just have, God knows, not only 3 espressos instead of 4 brain. Who knows, you know?
All right. While you think of that, I want to talk about the 3 best practices for a LinkedIn newsletter. For those of you who are wanting to start the newsletter, and please remember, done is better than perfect, y'all, because you're going to frickin' change your mind 52 times in the process. All right. So number 1, you do want to choose a name that describes the theme, hence inbox income. I mean, if you want inbox income, say hell yes in the comments. You want inbox income? Then my newsletter is for you. Do know that's the 4th or 5th title where I finally landed on the name. I didn't delete anything. I didn't go back. No, when I just had the clarity, I just changed the name. You can change your newsletter name at any time. Of course, you don't want to be changing it a million times, but if you know me, I do a lot of experimentation. I do a lot of messaging in live, right? Because I don't know what lands until I publish it and people respond to it. That's how we eventually got to inbox income. And Nina, I will tell you here first, I will not go into details because I've got like clients and stuff on the other end, but we're getting ready to use inbox income in another way. But I'm not going to say how yet as an offering. So I'm excited about that. So best practice number 1, like you need a title, and this is copy work, right? This is messaging work. This is where I spend 90% of my working day. It needs to say what it is, and it needs to be about 5 words or less. Same as when I help people with their email subject lines. Okay.
I love that because nothing is more annoying than being in someone's ecosystem and they have all these fancy names for all their programs. And you have no effing clue which is which and why you're in it. So yeah, for the mercy of God, just give things a not a fancy name, but a descriptive name.
Yes. Okay. The other thing, this is going to be no surprise for those of you who have tuned in the past 2 days, consistency, consistency, consistency. I hope I'm making Nina proud.
Yes.
All right. Consistency, y'all. I don't care if that's once a month to get you started on publishing your LinkedIn newsletter. If it's once a week, if it's twice a month, same day, same time.
Yep.
Consistency will be your best friend here. All right. So I would say that's a best practice. It's the same as what we teach our clients with their email. Mine goes out Monday at 8 a.m. and Thursday at 8 p.m. to my inboxes, right? Inbox income goes out Tuesday morning and Thursday morning. All right. So consistency, consistency, consistency. If you got to start once a month, that's better than nothing at all. And as a side note, how can you do this and not make yourself lose your brains? Work with a content strategist who can help you take all the stuff you've already created or all the stuff you're currently creating and know how to repurpose it into a strategy, right? Which is how I help my clients. And we don't have hours and hours. I mean, Nina and I are content creators. We love doing this, but if we did this all day long, we would not have any money in our bank account.
Yeah. We need to still work, not need, but we also want to, work with our clients. So yes.
Yes. So that's a best practice. Consistency, choose a name for your newsletter. And then the other thing I'd say is I linked that newsletter into the featured section of my profile. Yeah. And I would say that's a best practice because if people do nothing other than click on your LinkedIn profile, they're scrolling, who is this person? What are they about? What's featured? You'll see inbox income right there. So it's a great way to get your newsletter in front of more people. And it should be featured. I mean, if you're going to put the time and energy to it, just feature it and make it easy for people to find.
And I think the beauty also with newsletters is over articles, by the way, is people can subscribe to your newsletter. And if you share a post of your newsletter, all the comments that you gather on the post will also show on the newsletter. So much like these lives, all the comments will be collected in the same place. And that means that you're getting more and more and more noticed by the algorithm for something that has value that people are actually commenting on. Yeah. And by the way, for the live, I'm with Shannon on all of these 3 points as just a very lazy ditto: consistency, scriptive name, put it into your featured section. And I think, to circle back to what the name of today's talk was, which is elevate your conversation. And it took me like until now to actually realize what I wanted to say 5 minutes ago, which is, don't do a live because everybody tells you to do a live and makes sense for the algorithm. Do a live because it helps you get to your big, hairy, audacious goal, right? So if you have I don't know what your goal is, be it a tenured professorship somewhere, be it that you want to be collected by, the most amazing museums in the world. Is it that you want to sell 1 million copies or help 1 million people? It doesn't matter what your goal is. Make sure that if you create a live or a newsletter or any content on LinkedIn, that you're planning into elevating that conversation with each guest that you invite, with each topic that you choose. So you're not, again, we're not doing stale. We really want to make sure that we are constantly working towards that much bigger goal that we have, and reaching that. And with a live, what that looks like is just like, just think of what is your dream guest in season 10? Like that big, big ass, person that you do not have access to today. But if you strategically plan your guests from today until season 10, which is conceivably 5 years from now, however you plan your seasons, how do I get to that person? And if you keep that in mind, you will have a phenomenal live show. I promise you that.
Yeah, that's really good. And y'all, these lives, I mean, I have no problem saying this, and I know Nina won't care either. Nina and I have been doing lives, albeit on different platforms, for years and years and years. It took us a Google Doc, a 20 or 30-minute call, and us deciding what we were going to do. But that's because we're good at it, and we can do it on the fly. Your lives need to be prepared for.
Yes.
right? That means titles are thought of, subtitles are thought of, the content, the questions you're going to ask. Nina and I did research questions of each other. We're not looking at them, we're throwing them. Like, that's more fun for us
We
to just
have them, right? And this is the beauty of being a professional and expert. You're basing it on really solid work and not just flying by the seat of your pants and not doing your homework.
absolutely. And this is why Nina is not asking me about LinkedIn Lives here, and I'm not asking her about newsletters. She doesn't have a LinkedIn newsletter.
No, I do not.
Right?
Nope.
So they do take some work, and they take some, I mean, I will say scripting, but I don't have to script anymore. But early on, I had to script, but now it's second nature, right? For us to stay on track. All right, Nina, let's end today, because we're already at our time, with the number one thing each of us wants people to take away from this entire series.
I think embrace LinkedIn. I mean, I think that is really the bottom line, right? LinkedIn is not for stodgy, as you said, for stodgy old businessmen. LinkedIn is a very vibrant, alive community, and devoid of a lot of vitriol. I really love that about LinkedIn. In my 8 years, I've maybe deleted 1 or 2 comments, and not because they weren't nice. It was just because somebody was trying to poach my people on my own post. I'm like, that doesn't happen. So not on my watch. But all in all, LinkedIn is learn to love LinkedIn, which I think we very aptly named this, Shannon.
Yes.
What about you?
My biggest takeaway I want people to remember is and we said this, I believe, in either episode 1 or 2, you were going to quote me on it. Give publicly, sell privately.
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So give of your content publicly, give value, give advice, have fun with people. You know, Nina and I have had so much fun here. Like, we're just like, whatever, we're going to log in. And I don't know if y'all noticed, but somehow we manage every single day to be color coordinated without talking about it. So today was Green Day, apparently. But give publicly, and then sell through your email list. That is how you can keep your social media social and kind of avoid those high friction call to actions that Nina talked about this week, and save those for your email. Also help you remember, use the LinkedIn to get people to your email list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice summary.
Okay. Well, if y'all loved this, let us know in the comments, because we are going to see about coming back regularly. We've had so much fun. Look, you made me fall in love with LinkedIn, Nina. Look at that. Nina, Daniela is right down the river.
I know. I'm going to Daniela, and I hope this is okay. I'm going to screenshot this. And I will use this in my copy on my website, because that's just too beautiful. Thank you.
I love it.
So, and also for those of you who are watching the replay, which I know you will exist, the conversation isn't dead. So please go into the comments, ask us question, leave us what you thought, and your thoughts on this. Just mention Shannon and me, so we know it, so we get notified that you are engaging with us. And this was fantastic fun. And as Shannon said, I think we'll be back. So I'll be back.
I'll be back.
All right. See, my God, are we ending on that?
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Happy hump day.